Hi, my name is Joe Treff, and I run a tremendous number of games here for my friends Alanna, Ari, Cara, Dan, Emily, Hannah, Liz, Matt, Olive, Sable, Tina, and Vincent here on AlberonRPG. But today, I do want to talk a little bit about what's coming up in 2026 for our various bands of heroes. First, I do want to talk a little bit about the year that has passed and some of the things that we've done. 2024 was a year of just over 80 sessions. We saw in 2025 105 sessions played. I ran 87 of those, I believe. 39 sessions of Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. 35 sessions of Courts of Everest, our original D&D campaign. 4 sessions of Fallout, Black Heart of Texas, which uses Modiphius's 2d20 Fallout system. 1 session of Lancer, which was a one-shot now made into an anthology called Gold Jackets. I ran 2 different After Dark sessions. We had Deadly Sins and Dungeons of the Blood Alchemist, both of which are only available on Patreon because of the nature of those games. We also played a couple of different one-shots, Axe Wolf and Woe, which delved into the post-Campaign 1 history of Brenna the Axe, one of our original Campaign 1 heroes. We also played Greater Than Greed, the epilogue mission to Campaign 1 that finally resolved the story of Jeruxa and saw a return to the Fate Changers from Campaign 1. We also played a one-shot called The Crit, which was based loosely on a TV show called The Pit. I still have not seen any episodes of that, but I ran an entire one-shot based off of it. It was a ton of fun, and in fact, we'll be playing more games connected to that particular adventure, and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. We also played a one-shot called The Fire Giant of Farshore, where a group of adventurers rescued the sort of tourist destination in the Sunrest Islands from a fire giant. And that saw a legendary moment, which you can go and see over on YouTube. We ran sessions of the influencers, Barons of CorpoCon, which had a group of Starfinder social media influencers participate in a very big corporate gathering. And it's a lot more fun than it sounds. You can go see that over on YouTube. And I finally ran a session 0 for Tale of 12 Gems. And I'll talk about what that is in a moment as well. Cara, one of the players in our campaigns, ran 10 sessions, 9 sessions of Iron and Thorn, which is an Old Gods of Appalachia anthology, which we will be coming back to in 2026. We also had a session of Mableberry Manor, an Into the Odd adventure that had a group of people called to a haunted house to resolve some things. Cara also ran for us our yearly session of Feast of the Noble Vale, our Thanksgiving one-shot, now yearly one-shot, not quite an anthology, I don't know what you would call it, but it's a blast. We all play chefs who come and participate in a cooking competition judged by Hearsome, the Lord of Fools, and the right person won this year, that's all I'll say. So big thank you to Cara for the various games that she ran. Hannah ran 4 sessions for Humblewood, the very cute animal setting that is 5e adjacent, very much the same system, but a lot of new little bits and bobs. You can go see that over on YouTube, and we will be returning to Humblewood for an original adventure, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. Tina ran 4 sessions of Wheel of the Year, a series of adventures that are connected to a small town that is intimately a part of a larger process. And you can see those over on our YouTube as well. Olive finally ran a session of Ace of Roses, which was a Starfinder dating game show. And it's exactly as bizarre as it sounds. It's a wonderful game. I can't wait for the 3rd session. Still hasn't been announced. Olive, if you ever want to run it, please just let me know. But that is over on our YouTube as well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we did have to slow down a little bit this year, and I did want to acknowledge the fact that I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was undergoing diagnosis and treatment, which is like a tremendous number of scans and all kinds of stuff for like 6 months. So that's why a number of the things that I mentioned in the State of Alberon 2024 didn't come fully to fruition or kind of change the way that they looks. I am finally at the tail end of this, we hope. And so, things are moving in the right direction. But I would not be here today to celebrate this year that had passed and the one that is coming if it wasn't for my family and friends and even some of my coworkers who really supported me through that time. That also includes people like Talon, like Dragonborn Industries, and all the other people who reached out to wish me well. In these months in particular, the ones that are dark and in the winter, it can feel so isolating and alone in the best of times. So while you're sick and you're not feeling well and you're undergoing this treatment, it feels even worse. But the support of everybody has meant the world to me. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys very much. With that aside, I do want to talk a little bit about what we have coming up in 2026. We traditionally play 2 campaigns as we do most years. However, this year we will be ending the Courts of Everest campaign likely very early in 2026. The end is coming fast. And we will be starting campaign 3 of our 10-part meta campaign that runs every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This campaign is called A Tale of 12 Gems. This is going to be following the childhood friends known as the Mistridge Misfits. They're played by Matt, Vincent, Tina, Cara, Hannah, and Alanna, all of whom play in our current campaign, as they adventure across the infernally tinged continent of Mythalstreen, which we have heard referenced a couple of times and actually been to a few times in one-shots and various adventures beyond. This campaign will begin with a much tighter-knit party based out of a hometown that we all built together in our Session 0. As a result, for the very first time ever, we've actually had a chance to get a head start on our characters. Sophie Bischoff is doing the wonderful character art as she always does, and so hopefully in post I will be able to have it floating up here. I think we have 3 or 4 of them done now, and I'll put what we have up here. But Alanna is going to be partnering with Cara, playing a set of twins. Alanna as the tiefling paladin Rolf, who has learned the trade of justice with the Tribunal of Tyr. Cara is Rolf's twin, the tiefling Nora. She is a divination wizard who reads the future using tarot cards and a variety of other means, to greater or lesser effect. Hannah will be playing the massive Goliath fighter Tonki, who, despite her clumsy nature, is beloved in the town and amongst her Minotaur monk allies. Matt will be playing the tiefling lore bard Tuli Squadsworth, a head-in-the-clouds wanderer with an uncanny knack for a variety of odd skills. Tina is going to be playing a human cleric named Emmy, part of a quirky religious group called the Children of the Ember with a unique past. And Vincent will be playing the polar opposite of their current character as Grimgob, the goblin graviturgy wizard with a chip on their small shoulder, but immense arcane power packed into their tiny frame. Session 1 is going to begin with the party attending the funeral of the 7th friend, and proceed from there. It is likely that should the Wandering Hearts be successful, this campaign will take place approximately 15 years after the events of Courts of Everest, but failure will mean a time skip of just 2 weeks. So we will see about when this campaign transpires. And the events will be a little bit more pressing right from the get-go. Between campaigns 2 and 3, I do need a little bit of a break. It's always nice to be able to kind of rest and gather things. I did finish the campaign 3 setting map, though. I'll post that on social media pretty soon. But while I prepare for all of that, while we get the Hero Forge miniatures in, Tina is going to be giving me a little bit of a break by coming in and running a 4-part adventure called For All the Bits. This is a level 18 adventure that sees a number of heroes in the continent of Dominion rushing to the capital of Sarentil to locate and stop a dangerous escaped artifact unleashed during the events of our original one-shot, The Crit. I will be playing Brother Arkwenth, a blood hunter from our 4-part anthology Bloodroot, if you want to go back to 2022 and see what we were up to during the pandemic. Hannah, Vincent, and Dan are likely other players. We may have a few more people joining us as well. Mosaic Team 5 will also, finally, at long last, be coming to an end. We're already close to 100, and I think we're going to be close to 170 sessions when we end, which is wild. I never envisioned it going that long, but we will be beginning a Vampire the Masquerade game set in 1991 New York. This is going to be called Obsidian Coterie. I will be running the game. Olive and Dan will be returning for Mosaic Team 5. We will also be joined by former guests, now regulars, Liz and Sable, and potentially a fifth player to be named later. This is going to be a very gritty crime drama, especially at the start, that is set around the boroughs. I lived in New York for a number of years. That's where I went to school. And so there are parts of that city. New York is a city unlike any other. Many, I think all cities are, but New York in particular, it is not just concrete and steel. There is a heart that beats there. And so we're very excited to be able to explore that a little bit more within Obsidian Coterie. Between Mosaic Team 5 and Obsidian Coterie, Hannah is jumping back into the DM chair to run Rez's adventure in Humblewood. This is going to be a 3 to 4 session anthology using the Humblewood rule set. I am going to get to play as the Humblewood version of Rezit Millar, the imp familiar of Alanna, our warlock in Courts of Everest. Vincent, Emily, and Matt are also confirmed as players, and as we get a little bit closer, I imagine we'll be getting one or two more. Now, I also want to remind people, before I go into this next section, timelines are flexible on all of our additional projects. Sometimes we announce something that doesn't quite come together the way that we planned, or somebody gets sick, and sometimes something spontaneous pops up, and we get to play something extra that we never planned before. With that in mind, let me walk through some of the stuff that I have planned coming up through summer break, though already in our Discord, I am seeing that there are other plans as well. In January, after a group of interns saved the Healers Guild of Sarentil on their very first day at work, they were immediately promoted to residents, which is what happens, I believe, at all hospitals. On January 17th, you can join us for The Crit 2, Morbidity and Mortality, as the party is now responsible for putting things right in the hospital. I will be running the game. Emily, Hannah, Alanna, and Olive will be reprising their roles as the interns, now residents, who have more work to do, and we may have one or two guest players as well. In February, we are going to return to our Lancer anthology, Gold Jackets, in the second session entitled The Storm of Steel. After vanquishing Star Squadron and securing a communications relay, the UIF have located the hidden opposition base in the Eastern Plains. I will be running the game, where Matt, Vincent, Cara, and Alanna will be returning as their respective mech pilots, fighting the good fight for the United Independent Federation. We will begin airdropping our mechs from high altitude, low orbit, and just go from there. So that's going to be an absolute blast. Come and join us in February. In March, as winter begins to trek towards spring, we will be playing an original Alberon one-shot set hundreds of years before the start of our adventures. This one-shot is called Iron Lamentations, and we'll be following a group of adventurers tasked by the Dwarven Order of the Emberkeepers to discover why a sacred mountain forge is frozen over, and to restart its molten core. I will be the GM of this game with players Hannah, Alanna, Vincent, and a special guest, Betsy, confirmed, so far as level 13 adventurers. We may have one or two other people joining us for that adventure as well. In April, after a 3-year hiatus, I am very pleased to announce the return of Cobalt Quest. This is the third adventure in an anthology of loosely connected one-shots where a group of kobolds are rescuing one of their allies and then making their way home. After rescuing Krajak from the disgusting humans of Port Quinn, the Blacktooth Clutch kobolds have escaped into the Port Quinn sewer system and must make their way to the end to continue their journey home. And then in May, in the wake of the events of the Fallout Blackheart of Texas anthology, we will be returning to the Wastelands with a brand new original Fallout adventure after liberating Liberty Fields. The party has learned that a group known as the Institute is collecting resources for a larger project to the east. Convinced that they were all the super mutants known as Pecos Bill and Big Tex, the Institute have instructed the party to swiftly pack up and make for New Orleans, where the next stage in the project would take place. I will be running this game with all of Matt, Cara, Alanna, Vincent, and Hannah set to reprise their roles as the Texas Six. In June, with the World Cup approaching, I'm going to continue my goal of running at least a single new system every year. I will be running the original soccer-themed one-shot entitled World Cup Ultimate Futures. This one-shot will use the Varsity 2.0 system in a futuristic Earth where the scrappy underdogs of the Starhawks have somehow made out to the championship game against the reigning victors, the Nova Stones. I'm going to run this game. My wife, Emily, is going to be confirmed as a player. There's a few other folks who will be joining us, but very excited for that. July is where our summer break is going to begin, probably the last week of July, first week of August. And as is tradition, I will likely do a summer update at that time. So, obviously, this is going to be a pretty massive year. And as we look ahead to 2026, this is something that we have a lot of excitement towards. I want to thank everybody, as always, for your support. Following along on Twitch or YouTube is awesome. We also have an Instagram and a Threads and can be further supported for after-session interviews and things like that over on Patreon, all of which are AlberonRPG. If you have ideas that you want to see, comments, concerns, hopefully not concerns, but ideas and comments, please send them in to me, Joe Treff at AlberonRPG. I'll put like a little link over there. And I'm happy to respond and take a look. I respond to every email. You could ask Talon. He'll tell you that. So from all of us here at the AlberonRPG Network, I want to say happy holidays, happy New Year's, and we'll see you in 2026. Goodbye.